The popular imagination often conjures a lone figure lurking in the shadows, the solitary, tormented soul driven to unspeakable acts. But the reality of serial murder, as history grimly reveals, is not always confined to the shadows of a single mind. Sometimes evil finds company. Sometimes it flourishes in the bond of two, entwined in a deadly dance of shared desires and murderous intent. This is the terrifying world of killer couples, where the intimacy of a relationship becomes a breeding ground for unimaginable cruelty. These duos, bound by twisted emotions and shared bloodlust, challenge our understanding of human nature. They force us to confront the darkest possibilities that can lurk beneath the surface of seemingly ordinary relationships. Theirs are not stories for the faint of heart, but they offer a chilling glimpse into the abyss of human behavior. By delving into the crimes and motivations of these couples, we embark on a journey into the darkest corners of the human psyche. Prepare yourself, for we are about to descend into the annals of history's most sinister partnerships. From the desolate Californian landscapes to the heartland of America, the stories of these killer couples will shock and disturb you, but they also serve as a stark reminder. Monsters don't always lurk in the shadows alone. Sometimes they walk among us, hand in hand. Let's begin our exploration with Charles Ng and Leonard Lake, whose reign of terror in the California wilderness left an indelible mark on the American psyche. In the annals of American crime, few names evoke such visceral reactions as Charles Ng and Leonard Lake. Their killing spree, a macabre dance of torture and murder, unfolded in a remote California cabin, shrouded by towering trees and a deafening silence. Lake, a survivalist obsessed with a looming apocalypse, and Ng, a drifter with a history of petty theft, found common ground in their shared sadism. They transformed Lake's secluded cabin into a gruesome torture chamber, where their victims, both men and women, endured unimaginable horrors. Their modus operandi was as calculated as it was cruel. Victims, often lured under false pretenses, were imprisoned in a soundproof dungeon beneath the cabin. There, they were subjected to unspeakable acts of torture, meticulously documented by Lake and Ng on videotape. These recordings, chilling testaments to their depravity, became central to understanding the depth of their crimes. The tapes revealed not only the brutality of their actions, but also the perverse pleasure they derived from inflicting pain and suffering. As the body count rose, so did the investigators' suspicions. The disappearance of several individuals and a chance encounter with Ng at a hardware store set off alarm bells, leading authorities to the doorstep of their secluded house of horrors. Upon their arrival, Lake swallowed a cyanide pill, choosing death over capture. Ng, however, managed to escape, setting off an international manhunt that captivated the nation. Ng's eventual capture in Canada and subsequent extradition to the United States marked the beginning of a long and complex legal battle. The trial, a media spectacle, laid bare the full extent of their crimes, revealing a gruesome tableau of torture, murder, and sexual violence that shocked the nation. Ng, despite his attempts to claim innocence, was ultimately convicted on 11 counts of murder and sentenced to death. He remains on death row to this day, a chilling reminder of the depravity that can fester in the human heart. Our journey into the dark heart of killer couples takes us next to the heartland of America, to a time when the vast prairies held both the promise of a new life and the threat of unseen dangers. Here, in the small town of Cherryvale, Kansas, operated a seemingly innocuous family, the Benders, who ran a small inn and offered weary travelers a place to rest their heads. Little did these unsuspecting souls know, they were stepping into a den of unimaginable evil. The Bender family, consisting of John Bender, his wife Elvira, their daughter Kate, and son John Jr., presented a facade of normalcy. They were, to all appearances, a hard-working immigrant family trying to make a living in a new land. But beneath this veneer of respectability lurked a chilling secret. The Benders were not who they seemed. They were, in truth, cold-blooded killers luring unsuspecting travelers into their inn and, under the cover of darkness, dispatching them with brutal efficiency. Their methods were as chilling as they were effective. Travelers invited to dine at their table would be seated with their backs to a strategically placed curtain. While Kate, known for her beauty and charm, distracted the guest, John Bender or his son would strike from behind, delivering a fatal blow to the head with a hammer. The bodies, robbed of their valuables, were then dumped into a trapdoor located beneath the inn. Their final resting place, a mass grave, hidden beneath the very floorboards where they had sought refuge. For years, the Benders operated with impunity, their gruesome secret buried beneath the Kansas soil. But whispers of missing travelers and rumors of foul play began to circulate. When a prominent local doctor vanished without a trace after visiting the Bender Inn, the townspeople grew suspicious. An investigation ensued, but the Benders, sensing the noose tightening, had vanished, leaving behind a trail of blood and unanswered questions. Few names in the annals of crime inspire such morbid fascination as Charles Manson. His name has become synonymous with the dark side of the 1960s counterculture, a period otherwise remembered for its ideals of peace and love. Manson's story is a chilling reminder of how charisma and manipulation can lead to unimaginable horrors. However, it is crucial to remember that Manson rarely acted alone. His influence extended far beyond his own actions, ensnaring a group of devoted followers who would do his bidding without question. He was the mastermind, the puppet master, orchestrating a series of gruesome murders carried out by his devoted followers, many of them young women from seemingly ordinary backgrounds. These individuals, who might have led unremarkable lives, were transformed into instruments of terror under Manson's spell. The Manson family, as they came to be known, was not a family in the traditional sense, but a cult bound together by a toxic cocktail of Manson's charisma, manipulation, and a shared descent into darkness. Their rituals and beliefs were a perverse distortion of the era's quest for spiritual enlightenment. Manson, a charismatic drifter with a troubled past and a burning desire for fame, possessed an uncanny ability to identify and exploit the vulnerabilities of those around him. His early life was marked by neglect and crime, experiences that shaped his manipulative nature. He drew in his followers, mostly young people disillusioned with societal norms, with promises of love, acceptance, and a utopian future. These promises were particularly appealing during a time of widespread social upheaval and disillusionment with the establishment. He preached a twisted gospel of racial warfare, a coming apocalypse he called helter-skelter, using fear and paranoia to tighten his grip on his followers' minds. This apocalyptic vision was a grotesque misinterpretation of the Beatles' song Helter Skelter, which Manson believed contained hidden messages. Under Manson's hypnotic spell, his followers carried out his every whim, no matter how depraved. They were willing to commit heinous acts, believing they were part of a grand, cosmic plan. They committed petty crimes to fund their communal living, their moral compass slowly eroding under Manson's influence. The group's isolation from mainstream society further deepened their dependence on Manson and his twisted ideology. Then, on Manson's orders, they crossed the Rubicon from petty criminals to cold-blooded killers, their first victims a pregnant Sharon Tate and 4 others at her Los Angeles home. This marked a horrifying escalation in their activities, turning their delusions into deadly reality. The brutality of the murders, the sheer savagery with which they were carried out, shocked a nation already grappling with social unrest and cultural upheaval. The victims were chosen seemingly at random, their deaths intended to incite the racial war Manson had prophesied. The Tate murders, followed by the equally gruesome killings of Leno and Rosemary LaBianca the following night, sent shockwaves through Los Angeles and beyond. The randomness and brutality of the crimes created a climate of fear and paranoia. The subsequent investigation and trial of Manson and his followers became a media spectacle, laying bare the dark underbelly of the counterculture movement and the dangers of unchecked charisma. The trial revealed the extent of Manson's control over his followers and the horrifying details of their crimes. Manson, despite not personally participating in the murders, was convicted on 7 counts of first-degree murder and sentenced to death. His ability to command such loyalty and obedience from his followers was a key factor in his conviction. His sentence was later commuted to life in prison, where he died in 2017, his legacy a chilling reminder of the seductive power of evil and the fragility of the human psyche. Manson's story continues to fascinate and horrify, a testament to the dark potential within us all. The Manson family's crimes had a lasting impact on American culture, serving as a grim warning of the dangers of charismatic leaders and the vulnerability of the human mind to manipulation. The story of Charles Manson and his followers remains a powerful example of how easily ideals can be twisted into something monstrous. Over the years, the Manson family has been the subject of numerous books, documentaries, and films, each attempting to understand the complex web of factors that led to such a tragic series of events. These portrayals continue to captivate audiences, reflecting our ongoing fascination with the darker aspects of human nature. Even today, the story of Charles Manson serves as a cautionary tale about the power of charismatic leaders and the potential for manipulation and violence within cults. It reminds us to remain vigilant against those who seek to exploit our vulnerabilities for their own ends. Ultimately, the Manson saga is a reflection on the human psyche and the societal conditions that can give rise to such extreme behavior. It challenges us to consider how we can prevent similar tragedies in the future and protect the most vulnerable among us from falling under the sway of dangerous individuals.